know if you have any thoughts on this, but thoughts on the Carson Wentz situation. His problem is the lack of talent, scheme around him, and inconsistent mechanics. He just got benched in Philly. He beat the Niners this year. He was good a few years ago. He's like getting phased out the way Jimmy's getting phased out, or even worse. Do you have any thoughts on that? Should the Niners go after him? I don't think
he's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think he's still a really good quarterback. I don't care. Do you agree?
I do. Yeah.
I think he's a really good quarterback, but I don't think he'd be a good quarterback here. They'd get him killed. Listen, I don't know who could be. I don't know that Joe Montana could be a good quarterback here.
That's the point.
I don't know anybody. You say, who should they get at quarterback? God save him. I mean, he has McGlinchey yelling at McKivitz in the middle of a play.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know about that offensive line.
The only quarterback who might be able to survive behind this is like Kyler Murray, but they're not getting Kyler Murray anytime soon. Whew, scary. Yeah, Joe Montana would get hurt. Steve Young. I mean, it's just a concussion waiting to happen. They lead the league in quarterback hits allowed. That's ridiculous. It's unacceptable.
Yeah. And I guess one of the things that, Iggy, that we're stressing that you don't even think about, I would say the most important group on a team is the offensive line.
Yep.
Iggy, I think when you think of chess, they're the pawns. Are they the pawns who and protect?
Yes, right? Absolutely. That's right. And when you learn about chess, they talk a lot about your pawn structures. If you can get a diagonal line of pawns across your chessboard, that is a very effective defense, and it even can be an offense. So yes, they are the pawns, and they're very important. And if one of them stinks, then you got a big problem. And the Niners have like 4 of them who stink.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting question about Carson Wentz, but it's not the right question. The right question is, could any quarterback do well? And again, it comes back to Kyle Shanahan. You didn't notice? Kyle, I'm talking to you. You didn't notice what this offensive line was? You didn't notice that Jimmy was going to get hurt right away, and then you bring him back and get hurt right away? I mean, aren't you responsible for that? Aren't you responsible for using chess, thinking 4 moves ahead? Didn't you notice? Kyle, pay attention. I'm talking to you.
Dad, do you really think Jimmy wants to come back to this team after what you just said? Think about it.
Yeah.
You just laid it out. You really think he wants to come back and play week 16 and week 17 if he doesn't have to?
No, I think the Beacons truck is outside his apartment, wherever he lives right now, and he's loading it up.
I think when the Niners lost that game, secretly deep down inside, he was thinking, I don't have to play. I don't have to play. I'm not coming back. I wouldn't want to play behind that offensive line. I really feel bad for Nick Mullins because the league doesn't care about him. You can't hit certain quarterbacks. You can't hit Josh Allen, but you can hit Nick Mullins. You can just tee off on him. And there's about 3 or 4 times a game where his head gets bounced off the turf and he just pops right back up. I would not let my son play this game. Oh my goodness. And I feel like he's like my nephew or something. Every time he gets hit, I like levitate out of my seat. Nick! Oh my God. Nick.
So, Iggy, do you root for Nick?
Do I root for Nick? I shouldn't, but I think I do. I shouldn't. It's not professional, but I do. I like him. I mean, his grandfather's in the comments section. I like Nick. I mean, the fact that someone like that could make it this far in the NFL is just a great story.
Okay, I got another question. You like Nick, right?
I do like Nick.
Is there any other player you covered that you secretly liked like that?
No. I like Ross Dwelley too, but I don't know Ross Dwelley like that. I mean, his family's nice to me and he's a cool player, but Nick Mullins and I will talk in the locker room back when there was a locker room to talk in. He's really cute. He's cute. That's all I have to say. Like,
well, that's what he says.
He's 7 years younger than me, but he talks like he's 20 years older than me. I love it. It's so funny. It's great.
Now, Iggy, I didn't root for players, but I have to admit, when Steve Young in Arizona got that concussion, and I knew how badly hurt he was, and it wasn't his first concussion. I talked to him afterward, and he seemed kind of dreamy, because he was hurt. I felt personally bad. Now, yes. I didn't allow it to affect what I wrote, and I didn't really root for Steve, although I like him very much. It wasn't my job. But when that happened, I have to say, I had a bad feeling in my chest.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want to develop an emotional attachment to someone, but you did know Steve Young very well. You had a lot of interactions with him, and he was always gracious, nice to you. So how could you, compartmentalize it like that?
Yeah.
Paul Tilton asks, he said, I enjoy your truth more after a loss than after a win. Do you think the Niners will be much better next year? I don't. Lowell, big fan of you both. Thanks, Paul. We've been talking a little earlier. We're not so sure that the Niners are going to necessarily be much better next year or bounce back next year. And the reason is they still have major issues at quarterback, offensive line, and cornerback. And they only have one first-round pick. They put themselves in a bad spot. It's like they got their queen taken early in the chess game and they're scrambling.
That's right. That's what happened.
You got your queen taken. Your odds of winning are pretty low, but you're still early in the game.
Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, Iggy, because I've been through this about 40 times. When they go to training camp next summer, the Niners are going to say, we're really good. They're going to say, we're really good. We've handled everything. We feel this is really a comeback year for us, like the Rams. And you're going to read and in the papers and see on TV, the Niners have it. They really are good now. You know, that whatever their problems were, and there's going to be a lot of propaganda from the team and a lot of propaganda from the media. People that you're watching, don't pay any attention to it. It's BS. What you need to do is look for yourself.
Yes.
You'll see highlights. You'll see Iggy videos, things like that. And if you don't want to agree with Iggy, turn the sound off. Look for yourself, because whatever comes out in the media during training camp and from the team is pure propaganda.
And I'll give you examples. I'll give you some examples. Think back to August of this year. That was only 4 months ago. Who are some players who are having the best camp of their lives? Trent Taylor. Dante Pettis was having a triumphant comeback. Remember that? Remember that? He even had a press conference where he talked for like 10 minutes. Was like, I don't really feel comfortable talking about it now, but when the time is right, I'm going to explain my, great story. No, dude. No. You had one practice. So Trent Taylor, Dante Pettis, every year, Solomon Thomas. Every year, Solomon Thomas has turned to corner, guys. He looks great. He's in great shape. Every year you hear that. It's like I don't know who, but people are either trying to speak it into existence or they're trying to tell fans stuff they want to hear, knowing that the fans can't see for themselves and they can't be proven wrong. I don't know, but it is the essence of fake news. The essence.
It's fake news. And what they want to do is create a narrative, a fairy tale.
Yes.
And I know Iggy and I sound very cynical. I have been through this so many times. You got to put cotton in your ears when they start saying that stuff. It has no relation to reality. Reality is what happens in the first game.
That's right.
I.e., they got beat in the first game.
Yeah. I.e., they were not prepared for the season whatsoever.